Hey guys, I'm with Jody Marchman, and she has been working the Dave Ramsey system for quite some time. She and I both are using the same system, but she is far more advanced than I am. So I'm going to let her talk to you a little bit about budgeting.
Hello. First, I'm not far ahead. It's everybody is in the baby steps if you're doing the Dave Ramsey system. So for us, we started about 4 years ago, and if you don't know the steps, it's 1 through 7. Baby step 1 is save $1,000. Baby step 2 is pay off all of your debt. Baby step 3 is to have a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Baby step 4 is saving for retirement. Baby step 5 is saving for your kids' college. And 6 is paying off your house. And so when you finish paying your house off, then you're in baby step 7 and you're in the home stretch. So right now we're in steps 4, 5, and 6. So we knocked out all of our debt. We had a little bit over $80,000, and it took us 3.5 years, but we paid off about $88,000 in 3.5 years. I know, it's different scenarios because obviously if you've lost your job or you're getting unemployment right now, you kind of want to brace for the storm. So you don't want to hop into the baby steps right now.
Now, Dave usually says in those situations, you set up your 4 walls, right? You make sure you have a home to live in.
Yes.
You have a dependable ride, at least one.
Yes.
And then what's the
food and clothing.
And clothing. Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, most people all have clothing.
Credit card bills or bills that you can kind of put on the back burner. Obviously, we're not saying just obliterate your credit and not worry about the score at all, but you have to take care of what's important right now. So if both spouses or anybody, single person is, living paycheck to paycheck and that paycheck is gone all of a sudden, pay your rent, pay your power bill, buy groceries. Don't worry about anything else right now.
You're not alone. You have the nation is with you. So, don't just not pay. Pick up the phone and say, keep those 4 walls, and then pick up the phone and say, hey, I don't have it. I don't know when I'm going to have it. Can we lock my credit card, hold it, or do whatever they need to do? And so then that way you have some type of communication. It doesn't look like you're just being neglectful.
All the companies know this isn't just I'm not wanting to work. It's the whole country is in trouble right now, with the finance part of it.
For us, you only have 1 kid, but I have 4 kids. So right now our children should be in school, and they're not, and just like the rest of the nation. So one of the biggest bills that all of us have right now is basically food, because not only are we all home, so we're all eating, but we're bored. So we're eating even more.
A little bit more.
Yeah. So what can we do to help with that bill?
Yeah. So I love doing our budget as far as the grocery store goes. I think out of any of the bills that you have, that's the one thing that you can control. We sit down as a family and say, okay, what are we going to eat this week? I only go to the grocery store 1 time a week. We go on Mondays. So Mondays are our grocery store day. And I get everything that we need for the week. Once we know what we're going to eat, we write it down, and then we only get what's on the list. And so, I try not to go to the grocery store hungry too. I've always heard that tip. Mm-hmm. Don't go to the grocery store hungry, because you're going to grab every snack. And the grocery stores are the smartest. They put all the really good stuff at eye level. So you're going to
the little package
of
Yes.
So we only get what's on the list. We only buy what's on our list. And then again, I know that the cost differs just between, family members of how many that you have. But for us as a family of 3, we spend $100 a week. We do $100 a week at the grocery store, and that's our budget. Every time my husband gets paid, he gets paid every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, I take $200 because that covers us for that billing period. And I put it in an envelope. Once I know that money's in my grocery envelope, I take it to the grocery store, and I don't overspend. I only get what's on our list. And then, you know, if my son goes to, in normal situations when my son can just go to the grocery store with me, if I see, okay, we're at like $80, we're at $90, and then he says, hey, I really wanted Oreos this week, or I wanted ice cream, I can say, okay, we haven't reached our $100 threshold, so go grab whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Well, with me, I have 4, so mine hardly ever come to the store with me. But
Yes.
at this, because they will pull your guilt strings, and they're like, but mama, please one piece of candy, or please just this or this. And I tell people all the time, I don't bring them to the store, not because I don't want to buy them stuff, because I usually do buy them one thing every time I go to the store.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, with me, it's my pick. It's within my budget. They don't mess up my budget. And, you know, with kids, once you say yes to one thing, they're going to go down the aisle and they're going to see something else. And they're going to say, oh, but what about this too? And so then you've done said yes to 5 things. And with me, I have 4 kids. 5 things times 4 kids. It adds up.
It's kind of like going to a restaurant. I mean, people don't realize the amount of money that you spend just at the restaurant when you have that many more mouths to feed every time you have a meal. And the whole like, oh, I forgot to lay meat out of the freezer, we'll just go grab something. That will add up so fast. Before we started really watching what we were spending, I looked back in our bank statement a month that, you know, I wasn't doing any kind of budgeting, and we spent $700 on restaurants in 1 month. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a lot. The budget for the grocery list, writing things down is just, I mean, we grew up together, so we know. We're getting older. Like for me, I used to remember everything that I needed, but now I go into the grocery store and I'm like, I know I needed something. I know I needed, and I'm grabbing stuff that I already have at home because I forgot if I actually need it. So then I come home and I have 3 ketchups and 3 ranches, but I'm like, why do I need 3 ketchups?
So I'm not the greatest at it, but I try in our dry pantry. I have a little sheet of paper that's taped up to the back of the door, and I have like a tally mark list of, you know, obviously if I get the sale paper and if Kroger's running a sale, I will go ahead and pull out of my budget, not in my normal grocery budget, but I'll pull out pretty much household. I'll say, okay, for the household, I need an extra $50 this paycheck. And I'll go ahead and stock up on ketchup or stock up on sugar. I have a pitch counter. And so in baseball, when the kids are throwing the pitches, or whoever's throwing pitches, the ump can keep up with how many pitches they've thrown. I have a pitch counter and I take it to the grocery store with me. So that way I know that we're going to only spend $100 for the week. If I take that pitch counter with me, and let's say I need to grab broccoli and it's $2.50, I'll click it 3 times because I always round up, because that helps for the taxes.
And I thought that was the greatest idea. I told my husband too. I have the clicker in Amazon cart right now because it never fails. Like I'll start talking to my husband, or I'll see somebody that I didn't think I would see anybody in the grocery store. So I'm sitting there trying to calculate, but then after the conversation, I forget where I was at. Or it never fails. You use the calculator and you mistype something and it's all wrong now. So and I was like, that is the greatest idea. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. So, we know to write things down, make a meal plan. And are there any other tips?
Stick with it, because it does no good if you're going to write this stuff down if you don't go and do it. I saw,
like, if you don't start now, and like say you have to go to the grocery store right now, right before you watch this video, save that receipt, and then next week when you go, write stuff down, and then see the receipt and see how big of a difference it is. And
it's huge in between not writing stuff. And you're right. Yeah, they should absolutely do a receipt of when you go like willy-nilly, just run to the grocery store, and then one where it's a detailed plan. I bet you'll save half. I bet you'll cut it in by half.
Is there any other thing that you think that people need to focus on? I know that there is the $1,000 baby fund, and I know that's probably going to be super hard for people. But other than that, what do you think would be a good takeaway from this, if you can think of anything?
I think in a normal situation, as far as the economy goes, you know, you scrap together, and Dave always jokes and says, sell everything and make the dog think it's next. But I know right now, no one has any extra money. So it's not like you could throw a bunch of stuff on Facebook Marketplace and sell it really quick, because nobody wants to buy anything. Everybody's hoarding money, understandably so. And so in normal situation, I would say, you know, sell everything you don't need. Don't go buy things that you know you don't need. Don't keep going and buying stuff. Stop going out to the restaurants. But again, this is going to be a natural, oh, I might could do this, I might could get on board, because we can't go to the grocery stores. We can't go out and do stuff. We can't go walk around Tanger or shops because we're not allowed to.
This is a great time for people to remember what their need is. And Dave is really big about what is your need and what is your want, because needs, you're seeing them right now. Like, and all your wants are being taken away. So it's showing you how to live his way right now. If you would just stick with it when the gates open, I mean, you can change your life, really.
And now the time that we live in is a good example. We're in a rainy day situation. I mean, how the amount of people that can't cover everyday emergencies is crazy. I think, what is it? It's 7 out of 10 houses. 7 out of 10 houses write a $500 check.
I watched a video from Dave the other day with all this crisis hitting, and he said before this happened, over 78% of the population couldn't go 2 weeks without a paycheck. They would be in bankruptcy. And so now that 78% of the population don't have a job right now, I mean, that it's going to hit everybody very hard. So people are going to have to start reevaluating their money, because we went from a very good market to now people are going to be struggling really bad. I'm thankful that we started on this system when we did, because we do have a cushion. It's not the 3 to 6 months yet, because we're not there yet. But luckily, if we were where we were at 2 years ago, we would be in trouble right now. Like, and
that was why I wanted to start doing the little videos, was because I just started thinking, if this had happened 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know what we would have done. I really don't, because it would have been a situation where people would be asking for their money back, and I wouldn't have had it to give to them again. Because if you don't have payments, if you don't have credit card payments and furniture payments and car payments, all of that money can come back to you. Like you get to keep that money. And so because we've been able to keep our money, we can live off so much less of our income. And that's the biggest thing. I wish that everybody could be like that, because everybody deserves to be able to go to sleep at night and put their head down and say, I can sleep peacefully tonight, not have to worry about it, and not have to project that to their kids. Because I think, especially when they said, okay, we're going to shut schools down for the rest of the year, my first immediate thought wasn't, okay, what are we going to do? Because I knew we would be fine. I can homeschool. I've homeschooled him before. My immediate thought was, what about all those kids that are in situations that they're food insecure and house insecure, and they don't even know if they're going to be okay? You worry about those kids in the summertime, and now it's double that amount of time.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my first thing too. And I mean, thankfully the school did step up and decide to do these meals. It's free food, and it's food that they would eat normally at school. And so that's one of the good options. And I'm so glad that they did that, because that was my first worry too, was, there's so many kids out there. I worry about the kids that are around here just getting fed. I mean, the basic needs, I know. So,
and that's one thing, going back to, if you were already stretched, if you were already paycheck to paycheck, if you were already, by the time I get my paycheck on Friday, it's all gone by Saturday morning. Then adding on top of that, if you do have 3 or 4 kids, and now I've got to feed them an extra breakfast, and that's more meals that we have to buy for the house. If there's any way that you could drive up and get the free lunch, I mean, that's going to take that amount of money off of your grocery bill.
Okay, well, do you have anything else?